It's amazing how when you're a child, you haven't experienced too much life to really get too anxious or worried about the things around you. You wrestle with minor things like the dark or maybe what's under the bed or hidden in the shadows at night, but really, we don't give too much attention to the worries and stresses of this world. It's almost like we learn fear, we learn stress, we learn worry, sometimes from observation, but most of the time through life experience. I remember when my firstborn was younger, I took him down to the beach and man, he just loved the waves. It was amazing because he was so fearless. So I'm sitting on the beach with Alana and he actually goes and runs out onto a sandbank and as little waves coming through, he jumps over the waves and he's feeling pretty happy about himself until a set wave came through. So in his head, he's probably thinking, I'll just do exactly what I've done with every other wave. And he went to jump over the wave. And instead of clearing it, literally the wave hit him, threw him to the ground, tumbled him around, ragdolled him around underwater. Safe to say, it didn't end well. He ran up the beach crying towards me. Have you ever felt like that? Invincible? Then suddenly out of nowhere, life comes at you and you think, I've got this. But it throws you around a lot more than you expected. Leaves you kind of worried, like, is this gonna happen again? So my boy came running up the beach towards me, tears running down his face, and I grabbed him, I held him like a good father, I told him it's all gonna be okay, and I let him sit in the moment for a little bit, then after a while, I turned to him and like a typical dad, I said, hey, are you ready to go back out? And to his credit, he did. He wanted to go back out, so he walked back down the beach and back out onto the sandbank. And a few little waves came and I held his hand and we jumped over them together. And then out of nowhere, this big wave started coming through. This one was far bigger than the one before. And I could see on his face, he was petrified. So he turned and went to go back towards the shore. But instead I said, no, buddy, stay with me. Daddy's here, I've got this. And you could see his posture. It was almost like he was wanting me to maybe pick him up. Maybe he even thought I was going to throw him over the top of the oncoming wave. But instead, I grabbed his hand, and as the wave was about to hit us, I pulled him down with me under the wave. And in that moment, man, it was so surreal. Once there was tumultuous, crazy, roaring waves above us, but now beneath the waves, still, peace, quiet. It's almost like the moment was suspended as we dove under the wave together. I pulled him back up the other side, and you should have seen the look on his face. He was so proud of himself, as if to say, look what I've done. I have conquered this wave. I still remember him saying, Dad, I did it. And I looked at him and I was really proud that he did it, but the truth is, he didn't do it, I did it. It was almost like he thought he had the strength, he had the ability to pull himself through the wave, but no, he wasn't strong enough, I was strong enough. He wasn't able to pull himself through, I pulled him through. In fact, he probably would have drowned had it not been for me to pull him through the other side of the wave so that he could breathe. You see, this is the story of the Easter message. We live in a world right now that thinks it has all the strength, all the smarts, all the ability, but the truth is, we're still drowning. We still have things coming at us. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how rich you are, how powerful you are, life still comes at you. And what do you do when those moments happen? Are you smart enough? Are you strong enough? Do you have enough money to overcome those things? No, we are still left helpless. And this is where we come to this portion in Scripture, Romans chapter 5 and verse 6. This is Paul writing to the church in Rome, and he says this, when we were utterly helpless, Christ came at just the right time and died for us sinners. Now, most people would be willing to die for an upright person, though someone might perhaps be willing to die for a person who is especially good, but I love this verse 8. God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. You see, the message of Easter isn't, well, we're good and Jesus came to make you better. No, the message of Easter is, we were helpless and God came to help. You see, if you feel like you're drowning in guilt and shame, Jesus is stronger than our sin. If you feel like you are overwhelmed by fear, Jesus is greater than our fears. And if you feel like you're suffocating under the weight of life, Jesus is the way for us to breathe. There's this beautiful story in Acts 17 where Paul the Apostle is speaking to a bunch of men in Greece who were very much interested in the existence of life or the reason of life. And he said this: it is in God that we live and move and have our being. In other words, people know about existence, but it's only through God that we discover living. So today my question is this: are you existing? Or are you living? That it's only through Jesus that we truly find life, that our soul for the first time can